Peter Brower here. Today I want to talk about the legislation that's passed for short-term rentals in HRM. The short version is this. If you have an Airbnb or a VRBO type of setup in the city, you want to have a conversation with your accountant, you want to look at the legislation. The reality is this, they are changing it over. First of all, you have to register the Airbnb. The second thing that you have to do is that if you don't live in this Airbnb and it's in a residential zone, it is no longer permitted. So that is the biggest change for us to look at. If it's a multi-unit, if it's in a commercial area, there are different rules to it. But the bottom line is we have a lot of homes in the city that are being used purely as short-term rentals. How is that going to impact things? Well, for those folks who have them, it's going to be massive, quite frankly, because it's going to change their revenue structure for their homes. Now, what will happen with those homes? Three things are going to happen. One, well, people might ignore it, but that's at their own peril. The second thing that will happen is they'll move back into their houses and they will have a suite in their house. The third thing that will happen is they will convert those homes into something different. That might mean long-term rentals, or it may mean that they decide to get out of that particular business and sell the houses. It's not a huge quantity of houses in HRM, to be absolutely blunt, and I'm not sure how it's going to impact the market in any major way, but for those people, it's going to have maximum impact. The reality for all of us is if we own any of these, we have to talk to our accountant immediately. We have to get registered and we have to have a plan. And if after all this is said and done and you decide that you want to sell it, contact me because I'll get you top dollar for your house. Well, what does this really mean? Well, we're seeing government interfere with, quite frankly, a free market system that we all embrace. And to be blunt, that bothers me. We're seeing it locally, provincially, and nationally. And all of these measures that all of these governments are putting into place, I know that they are based on achieving the right result. But the problem is they're not doing any of those things. And this is the real challenge that we have with this. This is going to have no impact on the market. You know, the reality is, but it's a feel-good story because maybe a couple of hundred houses come into the market from a rental perspective, but it's not going to change our underlying problem that we have here. That's not enough houses. Why do we not have enough houses? Because it's super hard for developers to build houses. We need millions of houses being built in Canada right now, and that is not fixed by getting a few Airbnb people, quite frankly, put into a position where their entire livelihoods are damaged. And this is the problem here. We need to have long-term thought. This is short-term thought. It's great politically, but it sucks for people. And I usually try to stay neutral. The reality is, in this particular topic, I couldn't. It's affecting people locally, nationally, and the reality is this: we need to have much deeper conversations about real estate if we're going to solve this on a national level, and this isn't it. So thanks again, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.